What's up, guys? Today we're going to be going over UFC Azerbaijan predictions, Hill versus Rountree. Let's just get right into it here. What do we think will happen? Well, first thing I want to go over is the biggest prospects on the card. What do we got? We have Oman Elliot, a Welsh fighter, I believe. He's from Welsh, and he's been in the UFC for a couple fights now and really looking great. Mitsep, I'll never get that name right. Oralby, another prospect. I wouldn't really consider him a prospect so much anymore, but unranked, very good. Will be very good in the future as well. And then Rizvan Kuniev, another one where I'm like prospect, but really important thing for Kuniev here is that he is a newcomer to the UFC. So, he has a win over Ferreira and is, taking roids. So, turns out it's a no contest. And, let's move on to the next one, which is the big veteran names. Of course, we have Jamahal Hill, who is a former champion. Then we have Khalil Rountree and Curtis Blaydes, who are good contenders, who have fought for a belt. Blaydes, the interim belt against Aspinall, of course, but neither have been able to materialize the belt yet and have reinvented themselves a couple of times after setbacks, right? Khalil, learning that Thai style of fighting. I don't know if you guys remember when he came back. I believe it was against Eric Anders. Oh, man. I don't remember that much. But, he came back with a brand new style and just absolutely demolished Anders there. And then Curtis Blaydes, not the greatest, but really has improved his striking a lot. I believe it was Chris Dawkins he knocked out with his hands. Used to be known for just kind of his wrestling and grappling, but he's improved overall a lot. So, those are the big veteran names. And then, of course, we have the fan favorites, which are Rafael Fiziev and Ignacio Bahamondes. Fiziev, of course, just fought Gaethje, lost twice, and the Gamrot fight. Bahamondes coming off a beautiful victory against Jalen Turner with the submission. Both are fun, exciting fighters and strikers who always bring good fight. And then, of course, the fight of the night goes to those two. It's the same thing. Very high-level fight here. Action-packed and probably going to be a little bit faster pace than the light heavyweight fight that's atop this card, Hill and Rountree. So I went with this as our fight of the night. I could see a couple of other ones being fight of the night, but we'll get into that later. So now let's get into the predictions. First predictions we have are for Hamdy Abdelwahab versus Mohammed Usman. Hamdy is a better striker, I think, of the two, and should be able to win through that. He has good 1-2s and decent head movement for a heavyweight. He can kind of pull back on punches every once in a while, and really just really good striking. I know his last fight was close. A robbery, one would say, but either way, has the abilities, I feel like. He does have the PED pop in 2022 against Dontel Mays, which is that no contest in his last 3 fights there. And he did look way worse. So, he has the abilities, but are his physicality and his physical abilities able to keep up with those true abilities when he isn't on roids? Who knows, right? So, Mohammed Usman, on the other hand, he just kind of isn't that good at striking, and he's not really a wrestler either. So, I just don't see him being good enough. Kind of disturbing that he doesn't wrestle, especially against Hamdy, who has pretty good striking, so it should play into Hamdy's favor there. And he's already fought this year, so, or Hamdy, I should say, has already fought this year, so he's kind of gotten that ring rust off, right? It's been 3 years basically, or let's see, 2 years basically since his last fight. And so I just see this being a fairly easy victory for Hamdy, maybe 29-28 victory decision here, I believe. And I have it at negative 190 odds, a little bit better than what the odds makers are giving you right now. I could see him just dropping around for some reason because it's heavyweight and he just didn't look great against his last opponent. So I could see Hamdy losing a round or two, but Mohammed Usman just really, he just doesn't seem to have any abilities really. Physically strong, but heavyweight, it doesn't matter that much. So moving on, Tagir Ulanbekov versus Azat Maksum. Tagir loves to brawl, and he did so against his last opponents, last couple actually. And it's a little bit disturbing because Azat has shown an ability to have that one-punch knockout power, but Tagir also has the wrestling to mix it up. And that's where I think Azat will have the most trouble, is figuring out what is going to be striking, what is going to be wrestling, and just being able to stop all of it at once is a lot. Now, Tagir does try to brawl a lot, and he throws a lot of hooks. And, I could see a KO from Azat there, just throwing it down the middle. But seeing as this is a bantamweight fight currently, they're a lighter weight class and underdogs. Both don't really knock out people very much. So I just don't see Azat having the grappling to deal with Tagir or the striking ability to knock him out, which really bodes pretty poorly for Azat there. But I wouldn't call him out, and it should be a fairly easy win for Tagir. Azat's kind of inactive in his striking, so I could see him just losing rounds there that way. And Tagir, really by decision, seems like a pretty decent, easy way for him to win. I have it a little worse odds. I think I don't like the way he brawls. Tagir brawls in a lot of his fights, but what can you do, right? So I see a 30-27 victory, though. But I could see a knockout from Azat if Tagir brawls and Azat's a little more patient with the striking. I could see it going that way as well. Next up, two absolute scrubs, Irina Alekseeva and Klaudia Sygula. Klaudia has a lot more fights than I thought, but Irina is the favorite currently, and she likes to use long-range striking style when she's standing up. She, honestly, from the little bit that I've watched of her, just a very, very poor striker and really isn't UFC level at all when it comes to striking, at least. Grappling, she's not a terrible grappler. I do see her making mistakes and things that she can be taken advantage of because of that, but she likes to roll on the ground and get dominant positions, going for submissions and ground and pounds. So she's active on the ground, although not always successful. She can get herself into bad positions or submission attempts because she's trying to do things on the ground so much. And then there's Klaudia, who is more of a grappler as well, but she will lay and pray. So she will slowly progress through these dominant positions and, doesn't do a lot of damage, but has okay striking and likes to clinch and make it dirty. And so really what I'm seeing in this is that, neither are super going to be super high level, crazy ranked UFC people here, UFC level fighters, but Klaudia seems to be a little bit better of a striker. And although, Irina might cause trouble with the striking because she likes to stand at range so much, I just think because Klaudia has shown an ability to take damage and get into that clinch, she'll make it close. And I don't see Irina being able to dominate the striking very well. And then from there, she might gamble a position or two. Klaudia will not gamble those positions and just slowly keep the dominant positions over Irina without doing any damage, of course, because it's women's MMA, and that's just how it is. And yeah, just seeing the rounds go by that way, just very boring, not very fun fight at all for anybody. But I see actually the underdog Klaudia taking this fight and winning. Maybe a round with striking, maybe a round with wrestling, and probably losing a round randomly in there as well, because Irina might have gambled a position or two and it played off, right? And it's been a while for Irina, 2023, right? That's quite a while. So yeah, I am going to go with Klaudia by decision, minus 120. Not super confident. That's like 53, 55%, right? But yeah, I'll go with the underdog here just because I think she plays a little bit more safe and more technical, and that'll play into her winning a decision better than Irina will. Yeah. Next fight, Daria Z versus Melissa Mullins. All you need to know about this one is that Melissa Mullins has been in the UFC for kind of a while, and she has a victory over Daria already in its first round ground and pound. So really should be another dominant victory for Mullins. Daria, they fought outside of the UFC, and both have made it now. And Daria, in her last fight, fought Aline Perez, and her grappling hasn't improved at all, and so Mullins should be able to win this. She does have a bad habit of missing weight in her last two fights, so that's pretty bad. But yeah, Mullins by TKO, ground and pound, and I'll give it minus 300 odds, a little bit more than what the odds makers are giving it. Next up, we got Ismail Naurdiev versus Jun-Yong Park. Naurdiev likes to brawl in the stand-up, keep his chin in the air, and I've seen him get caught badly, but he's pretty decent technical striker. He just stays in the pocket too long. But really what I like about him, especially going up against Jun-Yong Park, is that he has good defensive grappling and will get on top and drop bombs. So yeah, he's also a kicker mostly in the striking, at least from what I was watching. And so with that, he should be able to keep range a little bit more. Well, Jun-Yong Park has decent boxing. He likes to stand in the face of the opponent. And it's a little bit dangerous, right? He's a grappling phenom. He has a lot of rear naked chokes. He'll get out-grappled into poor positions. But once he gets a dominant position, he can sub you basically via rear naked choke. So how do I see this going? I can see Jun-Yong Park kind of standing in Ismail's face and getting kicked a lot. Maybe gets it to the clinch, and maybe Jun-Yong Park might be able to get a takedown, but Ismail has good takedown defense. He should be able to stay at range and outstrike using his kicks. He can grapple, and Jun-Yong Park likes to lose split decisions grappling against people. And so I can see this being really dirty. But maybe another split decision going to Ismail. Really just being able to stifle the grappling and use his striking and kicks to beat Jun-Yong Park. And yeah, very close fight. I like the odds a little bit, like 51% for Ismail. But yeah, very, very good fight. I like the matchmaking there. And moving on. Next fight, we have Seokhyeon Ko versus Oman Elliot. Ko is a good grappler with decent striking and kind of a brawler mentality. He likes to blitz forward on a lot of his strikes and has good power, but he has the grappling also to kind of, back up some of the poor positioning he might put himself in with the striking against the fence. And Oban Elliot, on the other hand, very fast and strong striker with a very good variety of striking with his boxing, especially his hands are very good. His grappling is good enough that he can beat his opponents there, but he doesn't really use it. He can clinch and win really anywhere. And he's really just fought better opponents recently in the UFC. So how I see this fight going, Oban Elliot is just a faster, better striker and can counter-strike Ko. Ko will have his moments. He'll blitz him, and he might win a lot of little bits that here and there, but Oban Elliot will be winning all of the other moments in the striking, and his grappling is good enough. I think he should be able to stop his opponents from using it, and in this case, Ko won't be able to grapple against Oban, so losing a lot of the striking moments and then not being able to grapple will just be brutal, and Oban Elliot should be able to win this. But I could see Ko pressuring and blitzing Elliot and making it really dirty from there, so I don't know. I have Elliot winning this via decision, but the odds are a lot closer than I think. I just think Ko, because he's on quite a win streak here, at least 3, as you can see, he has confidence in himself, and he believes that he can win no matter how dirty the fight gets, and so I don't know. I just see Ko being able to make this dirty, but Oban Elliot winning most of the moments and rounds. Next up, Mohammed Naimov versus Bogdan Grad. My notes are pretty short on this one. Naimov, good counter striker, lots of power, and likes to be on the back foot. Bogdan Grad likes to be a pressure striker and box and brawl a little bit, and he has very poor takedown defense, which really won't be a factor, I don't think, in this. But, Naimov should be able to counter-strike Bogdan Grad, just blitz him in, left check hook, and just call it a day. KO in first or second round. And like I said, I don't see the grappling being a factor. Obviously, because Bogdan Grad is the pressure fighter, my odds are slimmer, but I have Naimov still winning this one via KO. Nazim Sadykhov versus Nikolas Motta. Sadykhov is a great striker, a little bit wild, and you can catch him, but is good enough to win a lot of the exchanges. He has decent grappling. He did get taken down by first round Terrence McKinney, but he survived Terrence McKinney on his back for a long time, and so I think he should be able to survive a lot of people, because that's a scary McKinney, right? Motta, on the other hand, he's faced a lot of strikers like Torres or Jim Miller. Jim Miller's not even really a striker, but it hasn't gone well. And seeing as the grappling won't be a factor for Motta, I don't see him winning this at all. I see Sadykhov just destroying him and having a second round TKO. I have the odds just about the same as the odds makers here. So, yeah. Tofiq Musayev versus Mutabek Orolbai. Really, Musayev is a counter striker, very boring, and will wait for people to attack him. But he leaves his chin in the air, so it's like, what are you doing here, right? But his grappling hasn't really been tested from what I've seen, but a lot of his losses on, I believe, on his record are via submission, so that could be a factor here. But really, Orolbai is a good striker. He can go forward. He can go backward. I think he's probably going to lead this one, and he has a wide variety of striking. He has kicks. He has punches, just everything you need. And he also can go to his grappling when it gets tough, if it gets tough. And I just think that he should be able to pressure forward, hit Tofiq, and finish him in the cage via rear naked choke. After knocking him down, he'll submit him. And I have him winning by fairly decent odds. Probably odds makers would make this bigger, but I didn't do this. I did this Monday, June 16th. So, yeah, we don't have odds yet for this fight for some reason. All right, we got the first of 3 big fights here. Curtis Blades, a very beautiful heavyweight contender, versus Rizvan Kuniev, coming up for his first UFC fight. Blades is a good grappler. He has decent striking and kind of just well-rounded. A lot of different potential variants for finishing the fight and winning in really any way he wants via decision as well. Kuniev, on the other hand, he's kind of a clinch and lay and pray type of fighter. He has decent striking from what I've seen, but it's kind of like heavyweight usual slop, so nothing special there. He's a little bit fast, but yeah, Curtis Blades, honestly, with the ability he has in the grappling, especially kind of how he looked against Jailton Almeida, I think he should be able to kind of similarly stop Rizvan Kuniev that way and kind of destroy him from there. And, I can see him beating Kuniev in the striking. It might be close, but Blades has fought such a high level of opponents that Kuniev just, I don't know if I believe he's that. So, I have Blades via second round KO, but I could see him laying praying to a victory. I have the odds a little bit closer. Kuniev does have fairly similar style to Curtis Blades, so he could absolutely win this fight. But he's been on roids. That's where the Ferreira fight, I believe, the no contest there was. So, I don't know if I am going to be able to trust Curtis Blades to not get knocked out here. He has lost many fights before this in terrible fashion, but yeah, Curtis Blades, man, I just think he has the ability to kind of stop any sort of attack that Kuniev has for him, and he's fought the level of opponent that I think he should be able to beat Kuniev. All right, next up, we got the co-main event of the evening, Rafael Fiziev versus Ignacio Bahamondes. Oh, what a beautiful, beautiful fight. I have Fiziev as a short, stocky, kind of fast twitch striker, while Ignacio Bahamondes is a long-range, more flashy style. And really what it comes down to is I think the distance will be hard for Fiziev to manage, and grappling I don't think will matter for him. And so he's going to have to hold his own in there in the striking. And I just can't see him being able to get in and out without getting tagged by something fairly often. And Bahamondes fights long as well. So he uses his range to his advantage. And so I can see this going a lot of ways, but really I see this as a Ignacio Bahamondes decision. I can see Fiziev just like getting in the pocket and dropping Bahamondes from something, but really Bahamondes probably will win that first round, maybe drop Fiziev even with a long range, like 1-2 down the pipe. I see Fiziev kind of making adjustments and getting better throughout the fight, but it's going to be a little too late, and Bahamondes, I believe, will have won multiple rounds, maybe even just grapple a little submission threat there if he needs to. I don't think he'll submit him, but yeah, I see Bahamondes winning a couple rounds here, and maybe Fiziev looking good in third, but not being able to get enough. And yeah, I have Bahamondes winning by a little bit more. This is pretty much an even fight odds by the odds makers, so yeah, Bahamondes, I think, is just a little bit too long, too good at using his reach to lose to Fiziev. And then we have the main event of the evening. First of all, Jamahal Hill, get yourself in Azerbaijan. I know that Iran and all those places are sending missiles through the air, but if you're not on this card, it is just not very good. I'll just say that. But anyway, besides the point, Jamahal Hill, couple of losses here in a row, getting KO'd, but he does have the Glover Teixeira victory, winning him the championship. Looked great in that. Khalil, on the other hand, put up a good performance against Pereira, couldn't get it done, and won his last 2 fights before that. Really, what do I see? I just see Rountree as a little bit more of a technical fighter in this one. Jamahal Hill is good at using his range, but Khalil is good at getting close enough for his boxing to be good. And I don't know, man, it's a really tough one. Jamahal Hill really needs to win badly, right? If he loses to Rountree, he's basically out of title contention at this point. So I think he might be coming out aggressive, but I don't know if that really even helps him against a striker like Khalil Rountree, right? I really love this matchmaking. Super duper fair, even fight. I don't see grappling playing a role in this at all. If it is, I see Hill using it. Rountree against Pereira should have used it if he was, and if he gets beat like that, I don't see him using it against Hill, right? So, really, a lot of points here I can see, but Jamahal Hill's bigger, and he throws his straight punches down the pipe, and so that could be his way of winning. But I could also see Rountree being faster, being able to blitz in, and just being a little more precise with his shots. I don't know if either of them can knock each other out, but I do see Jamahal Hill making a mistake first, and that's really how I see Khalil Rountree winning this, right? It'll be pretty fairly close, even fight, but I can see Hill making an error and it just costing him an entire round, an entire couple rounds, or really costing him the fight, right? I could see him losing round 3, round 4. And so I have Khalil winning by KO. Just a couple good shots and then just really emptying the gas tank in round 3 or 4 to get Jamal out of there after that happens. And yeah, I think this is a super duper close fight. This is probably the closest odds I have on here. But yeah, I have Khalil winning, but I could definitely see Jamahal Hill using his range to win this fight. So, all right, the betting notes and odds. We have the number of decisions, KOs, and submissions, or at least the percentages, as well as some betting notes here for you. So what am I seeing? We have 3 fights that are over the 205 weight class. And so what that means is that they knock each other out 36% of the time, which if you do the math, that is 5% or 6% in my case, because I'm rounding up or down for a couple of these. Those fights might end a little bit more in a KO, right? I believe I've just said that Hill will get knocked out. Believe that. And so, yeah, just putting that out there for the betting notes if you guys want to use that. Also, what I have there are 4 fights that are from -100 to -199 favorites with them like that. And so those favorites win a little bit more than half of the time. And the implied odds suggest that, 3% more than they should at -100. There's good money to be made on some underdogs here, right? You can have some underdogs win those close fights that people think, and you can make a little bit of money that way. Similarly, the finish rate for the UFC is 46% right now. Not great. That basically means half the fights are ending in a finish or a decision. And so, it's pretty likely that a lot of these are going to be a decision, whether the prediction is correct or not. And so, especially if they're close, a decision is really likely. And I would go with that a lot more often than a knockout or a submission. And then finally, I wanted to give you the underdog win rate so far in the UFC, 36%. So they don't win often, but there are a lot of close fights on this card, so you could make some money on them. I know that they don't win super often, as I've shown you, but on the other side of things, you can look at it and think to yourself, well, underdogs don't win that often, but if I pick and choose them here or there, as in this card, you could make some good money. So yeah, just throwing all that out there for you. But, if you parlayed all the minus 300 favorites or more, you would win $87 if you bet 100. So you'd win $187 extra. And then if you parlayed all the favorites, obviously you'd win a lot more because there are a lot of close fights. You'd win $5,186. So, a lot of money that could be made here. I really wouldn't parlay probably a lot of this card unless you got those favorites that you really think are going to win. But even then, you can see you're not going to win huge money there. So parlays probably aren't the good option for you here, but you can go with it. There are a lot of options there. And then confident picks. What do I got? I got Orlby, I got Sadykhov, I got Elliot, Melissa Mullins, and Tagir Ulanbekov. All people I just think should have a fairly decently easy time winning their fight. I don't see their opponent having a lot to throw out there that will stop these people from doing what they do normally in the cage. And so, yeah, what do we got here? We got the card review. Yeah, I give this card a 6.25 out of 10. There's about like 6 or 7 fights that I like or fighters that I think will be fun to watch. Other than that, yeah, a lot of these people are just like nobodies. So, yeah, they got like 3 big fights out of 11, so 2.75 out of 10 there. I like the Blades fight. I like the Bahamondes fight. I like the Hill and Rountree fight. Other than that, like there are decent fighters on the cards, but nothing special elsewhere. And then at the bottom, I just wanted to have the confident picks and the all predictions picks so far from this year, which means I only really had the Atlanta card out there. But yeah, that's what I got. And yeah, this is UFC Azerbaijan, Hill versus Rountree, and what I think is going to happen. If you like the video, let me know in the comments. Maybe hit the like button, subscribe as well if you like. But yeah, peace out.